Good morning, everyone. My microphone quality is still terrible. Shocker. No way. It's almost like we couldn't tell. No, but my microphone quality is very, very poor. Today's daily entry is not talking about my problems, is not talking about my issues. We're talking about art today. And I did not make a skip. Oh, whoa, a skip? Whoa, skip. What is a skip? No, I did not write a script. A script, not a skip. I did not write a script for this video. I'm going right off of the top of my head, whatever I think of. So yeah, I have a couple of things I do want to talk about. Starting out, I want to talk about AI. I'm just going to straight out say it. AI is a problem. The way that people are using AI right now is extremely foul. It is sickening the way that people are using AI. There are these content farms that are just pumping out quote unquote art that they literally just they just typed out a little, they just went like that and it just formed magically. And I want to intercept really quick. It did not just form magically. The way that AI pulls from the internet to get all of these images as a reference to create what it does create is extremely immoral. And it has led to a lot of people losing their jobs. A lot of people losing their primary source of income because they're an artist. And now there's an AI that took all the art they've made for the last 10 years, packed it up into a single format, and now they're just pumping it out. This is a problem. And that's all I have to say about AI. AI is a problem. It is a issue. And we're going to move on. Before I move on, actually, I wanted to say that because I did not want people assuming that I like AI or that I think it is a good thing. I believe AI is a problem. I think that it is a problem in the art community, is a problem in the community in general. I think AI is just a huge issue. Done talking about AI. We're going on to art. I had to slam my desk. But I'm talking about art today because if you haven't noticed, I do create some little bits of art here or there. And everything I have posted on my YouTube channel, almost everything, is not in my style. It's not how I like to create things. Oh, I made a face that's pretty close. I made a face that's very close to what I like to create. I like to draw, or not draw, yeah, draw, I'd say draw. I like to draw things that unsettle me personally, but could also unsettle other people. I really like to draw things that instill, like, they're either from my fears or they have something to do with fear in general. I'm very into horror. A lot of people don't actually see that coming. For instance, my girlfriend said, I think this was 3 or 4 weeks ago, she said, you don't seem like the type of guy to like horror movies. Meanwhile, like, some of my favorite films have been horror movies. I really like all the Saw films. I really like, wow, I'm having a moment. I really like to Get Out. And a lot of these are very, like, it's obviously like, oh, well, it's more of like a mental horror, more of like a mental torturous kind of thing. But no, I also like things like, what was I thinking? Silent Hill, the movie. Silent Hill is such a good movie. Like, it is genuinely one of the best game to film adaptations I've ever watched, and I love it. It is some of my favorite, like, visuals come from that movie. It's got its own style, and I love it. Some of my favorite games, or at least, I guess not games. I'm really not into horror games. I get too scared too fast. But they have horror elements to it. Fallout, for instance, is one of my favorites. The Binding of Isaac's one of my favorites. Obviously, The Binding of Isaac is not a horror game, but it does have some elements of horror or more, terrifying concepts when you really get into it. That's the kind of thing that I really like. I also really like Creepcast. I love Papa Meat. I love Wendigoon. I've been watching Nexpo for a long time. And I think Nick Crowley, is that his name? I really like him, that guy. And then there's also like, but it's Farrell McGuire. I really like Farrell McGuire. And back when some ordinary gamers was still into talking about horror content, um, he used to talk about the Deep Web. I really liked that series back when I was a teenager, or when I mean, I'm still a teenager on a technicality, but back when I was like 13, 14, really into it. Not so much today. I don't think I would sit down and watch a Some Ordinary Gamers video, just because I don't know, I kind of like fell out of wanting to watch him. I still watch Wendigoon. I still watch Papa Meat. I still watch Billy Styler. I mean, Billy Styler went on a hiatus for like years. Not years, but months, you know. So he didn't really make all that much recently, but when he was actively making a ton of stuff, I was still really into watching him. I liked a lot of David Firth's content. I haven't watched him in a while. It's been a little bit, but I still like him. Still love I love his style. It's great. Jack Stauber's a big one. I really, even though like he quit making stuff a year ago now. I think his most recent video is a year ago now. Hold up, let me check real quick. No, his most recent video is 3 years ago. So even though he quit posting a long, long time ago, I still really, really, really enjoy all of his content, all of his art, all of his videos, or his music videos. I mean, I think they all have such a deep meaning to them when you really look into it, and it's got this type of horror that you don't see anywhere else. Even if you wouldn't consider it horror, maybe it's still horror. But I've been watching a lot of that kind of like internet horror kind of thing for a long time, and I honestly just forgot what I was talking about, so we're going to move on to the next thing. I don't know if there was a resolution there. I completely forgot. Oh, I also want to mention, I really like Trevor Henderson. Trevor Henderson's great. But yeah, all of my art is very inspired by all of those people in some way or another. Junji Ito in particular, I like drawing these very grotesque scenes where it's like one I drew a while ago. It was like a bunch of people that fused together and they were a huge monster, or like things like that. I really like drawing those big, like momentous, grotesque scenes. But I also really like the grandness of it. But anyway, on to my current art, what I want to be making in the future, and initially where I started. I started drawing little doodles and things like that when I was, I'd say, about from the ages 6 to 8. My parents told me, hey, we don't want you sitting on your butt playing video games all day. Go make some art. That's actually not how it happened. How it did happen, though, was my brother was sitting outside on the porch, because we had a porch back then, and he had his sketchbook, and he was drawing away, and I walked out onto the porch. I said, what you doing? And he showed off every single one of the little, not little, but like the creature designs he made. And that was a big part of where I began putting one and one together to create two. I realized that I really do like looking at really creepy things. It's scary, but they're really cool, and so I'm gonna go into creating art now. And I started making art, and it started really slow. I'm gonna be honest with you. My old art is very, very, very cartoony. It is very I don't know how to put it other than childish. And then it snowballed very quickly till where I got to the point where I am today, where in a couple minutes I might be able to throw together an entire person. I can draw an entire person or monster or whatever in just a couple minutes. In fact, I've realized recently that I draw so fast that sometimes I can literally sit there drawing what I think might have taken an hour, and it's actually done in 2 minutes. I draw very quickly. And that's apparent. And so yeah, I've gotten to that point where I'm like, I think I should start actually doing proper art studies and things like that. I started doing animation, and for a while I struggled with it. Right now, I do believe I have grasped the basic concept. I think if I really sat down for a few hours, I could put out a little short animation pretty easily. It wouldn't be that hard for me to do. I do draw pretty quick, so I think I could do it, but I especially have noticed that I'm getting better at doing momentum and things like that. But from here, the question is, what am I doing next? I've written a couple pages of a book I want to write. It's about a fictional video game. The video game isn't real. I've named it Catalytic because the theoretical main character would have the ability to cause things around it to evolve, whether it likes it or not. It will, and it can like decide, like it like picks up a little guy and then just like becomes evolved into its next mutated form or whatever. And I really like that idea, and so I expanded upon it and I wrote lore for it and everything. And so I did start a little bit on like a lore book that has some really cool visuals in it. It's not like a proper book yet, but I do want to continue that as I go. I probably next video will talk about my old sketchbooks and maybe go through a couple of them. Possibly. I do have like 60 billion of them just sitting around. My most recent ones, I have no idea where some of them went, but a lot of them are just sitting around my house, in my room, primarily just my room. And yeah, maybe I'll go through that next video. I am tempted to end the video now, but I'll just keep it going for a couple. But, whoa, I almost died. I also apologize for my mic quality. I will admit it's bad. It's really bad. I'm using an old headset. My microphone broke the other day. It fell on the floor. I don't even know how it fell. Something somehow just like picked it up. I was getting my phone from underneath it because I like to set my phone underneath it so that it's steadier, because for some reason that makes it steadier. But I was like getting my phone from underneath it, and my phone was completely underneath it. My microphone had 3 legs, and it was between those legs. And I pull it out, and my phone doesn't even touch the legs. And my microphone goes falling forward. I don't even know what did it, but, it happened. Now it's broken, so I have bad mic quality. But, yeah, I've also been really into writing. There is this thing. So I want to explain the origin of this series. Oh, hold on. Let me re-say that. I want to explain the origin of this series. When I was in middle school, we would do a thing called daily writing, where we would get a prompt or get an idea, and we had to write that down, or we had to write our version of that. And we had to turn it into our teacher, and we only did this 1 year. And that 1 year was the single best year of, like, my middle school. Like, 8th grade was the best year that I had in middle school. When I was a kid, I remember loving that year, and I realized more and more, like, as I go on, why I enjoy certain years more than other years. This year's been great. I've been enjoying it a lot. In fact, I also really liked all of last year, more or less. I had some issues with a couple of my teachers, but I had a great year. But 8th grade was particularly good because we did these things called daily writing journals. We had to write down our thoughts and our ideas and things like that. We had to turn them into the teacher. The teacher would grade them, and then she'd hand them back. I realized more and more that the entire reason I enjoyed that year was because my teacher allowed herself to understand the students. And so, but it also had another effect. It awakened this thing in my brain where I realized that I do like writing. I used to hate it. I used to just dread having to write. But now anytime I have to write anything for anything, I enjoy it. I love it, actually. I really liked my English 101. I've been enjoying my art history because there's a lot of writing involved. Putting down my thoughts, personal journals, and things like that. And so that's kind of the origins of this, but in this case, I'm using it to get experience on creating videos. Because it doesn't seem like it has to do with anything, right? You might think, oh, this doesn't have to do with anything this guy wants to do, right? You might think, well, you talked about going into art, right? Why are you not focusing more on that? It's because video editing has a lot to do with where I want to go. Or not where I want to go. Where I want to go with my art. To animate is one thing. To edit that animation and make it so that it fits with the audio, it's really smooth, it has very nice transitions between scenes, and making sure that it feels good is all about the editing. Not all about. It's largely about the editing. The animation itself has to be good, but the sound effects, the way things move have to have something other than just a visual. Imagine you can see, like, I guess that's different. Not for everybody, obviously, because some people can't hear. So how is the audio thing going to help them visually recognize a more realistic version of that animation? You know what I mean? But point is, the video editing skills that I'm gaining out of making these daily entries will eventually help me in my animation. So that's what I want to talk about today. Most of this is all I wanted to talk about. This video might be really short, it might be really long, depends on how much I cut out, depends on how much I keep in. Because there are some topics I talked about today that I probably should not have talked about as long as I did. But there's also some topics that I probably also shouldn't have talked about because they're too personal, and I don't want you guys to find out where I am. I also don't want to dox myself to anybody on the internet that happens to stumble upon my channel. So yeah, there are some parts that are probably going to definitely be cut out, but then there's some parts that are going to get kept in. It's about 30 minutes of footage so far. If it's like 10 when you get it, you know there's a lot of stuff I did not want to talk about, or that I didn't really want to talk about. So yeah, this has been daily entry number 2, and it is actually good afternoon. I don't know why I said good morning in the beginning. Very loudly. It's been afternoon for a while now. I don't know why I said good morning, but I did. But yeah, I will talk to you tomorrow, guys. Or not talk to you. I'll see y'all tomorrow. I'm signing out. Peace out, homies. Also, I'm gonna try a song at the end of the video that's different than the rest of the video. I hope you like it. Goodbye. Ah!